All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. You know, over the years, we've done many shows on a variety of health topics, and two of the most frequently asked about topics that we've done in the past are Meniere's, which is a disease that, you know, the medical community is having a hard time trying to understand what it is, well, as far as I know, and why I know Meniere's is such a strange disease. My wife has Meniere's, and, you know, I know firsthand what it is and how it affects people. When Laura had her first Meniere's attack, we actually thought she was having a stroke. And, you know, we called 911, and I've got to say this right up front. I am so grateful to the members of the emergency measures system here in Hamilton, Ontario. They are fantastic. Police, fire, rescue. We called 911 within 2 minutes. We had a fire truck, a paramedic, as well as police in our residence. These guys are fantastic. And anybody who's listened to the show over the years knows that I have the highest amount of respect for the medical community as well as emergency services. And a second topic that is big here on the X Zone is Morgellons, the fiber disease. So because of all the emails that we've received and telephone requests, I decided to ask our good friend, Dr. George Zougridis, to come on the show and try and help us better understand about these two mysterious ailments or diseases. Now, we're not going to get into the specifics. We're going to look at the generalities. And, you know, once again, if you have any problems that plague you or that are causing you concerns, do me a great favor. First of all, go see a doctor. Don't take it upon yourself to try and cure yourself going on the internet, because as you know, the internet is the biggest septic tank that man has ever created. There are professional doctors, there are professional nurses, professional homeopaths. Please go and see a professional. It's good to do research, but please go and see a professional. Dr. Zougridis is an MD. He's a doctor of psychology. He's board-certified family physician, licensed clinical psychologist, author, composer, with a whole-person approach to wellness and the complexities of modern life. Having earned advanced degrees in medicine, psychology, theology, and music, Dr. Zougridis is a diplomat of the American Board of Family Medicine with many years of experience in education, primary care, and sexual medicine. His website, www.livingwholelivingwell.com. And Dr. Z, thanks very much for joining us tonight here on the X Zone. And I heard, you know, when I say that the internet is the biggest septic tank in the world, I heard you laugh, which most guests who are credible do, because so many people go on the internet and they think they find the answers. In fact, I am pretty sure they even think that they know, who shot JR. Well, now they do because of the reruns. Who shot President Kennedy, where Amelia Earhart is, and Elvis is somewhere in Nicaragua, probably, according to the internet. So welcome back to the X Zone. Great having you with us.
Rob, it is an absolute pleasure being back on the show with you. Thank you so much for having me on to talk about these two mysterious conditions, as you noted. And I had to snicker when you referred to the internet as the big septic reservoir there, thinking, well, my website's on the internet, so hoping that you weren't putting the two together.
No. No.
Just joshing with you.
Yeah.
These two conditions are very interesting, and I'm, on a serious note, sorry to hear that your wife Laura has suffered with Meniere's. That's a difficult condition to bear.
Yeah, when she first had her first attack, as I was saying, we thought it was a stroke because she couldn't sit up. She was totally disorientated. It was at 5 o'clock in the morning. She couldn't stand up. It was scary. And it took...
Right, and...
Go ahead, sir.
Oh no, right. Because what'll often happen, people will think they're having a stroke, like you had mentioned. Just even with some initial symptoms like what you're describing.
Doctor, you and I have to take a commercial break. We'll be back on the other side of this 2-minute commercial break. X-Zone Nation, our guest of this hour is a good friend of the X-Zone, Dr. Z, as he's known around the world, and to the X-Zone Nation, his actual name is Dr. George Zagridas. His website is www.livingwholelivingwell. And the good doctor and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break in 2 minutes as we take a look at Meniere's and Morgellons here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Oh my gosh, many of funny things in the internet or in the septic tank of great information, but certainly not www.livingwholelivingwell.com. Great website. I've been there. We'll be back. Don't go away.
Of course not. Thank you.
Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifeology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com. Named one of the world's greatest psychics, Elizabeth Joyce is now giving readings worldwide via Skype. Elizabeth Joyce is recognized for her clairvoyant ability to help find missing persons, her analysis of dreams, past life regression work, mediumship, and her accurate predictions. Elizabeth has been a frequent guest on the X-Zone radio show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, now for several years. For an appointment with Elizabeth Joyce, call 201-934-8986 or Skype at elizabeth.joyce. And for more information, you can always visit Elizabeth Joyce online at www.new-visions.com.
Do you have a disease that you would like to alleviate through a natural means? Have you been contacted by angels, ghosts, or even extraterrestrials and want to validate these experiences? Or would you simply like to speak with someone who can help you find your life's purpose? I'm Dr. Joseph Mara, and I'm offering my services free of charge for first-time clients contacting me during the month of April. These free consultations include angel card readings, guided meditations, life coaching, and energy healing. If you have always wanted to explore these types of experiences but were skeptical or simply could not afford them, then take advantage of this free special offer. Contact me through my website, aguidinglight, spelled lite.com, to schedule your consultation today. Until then, I offer you love, light, and laughter.
Exonation, Dr. Zeas, our special guest. www.livingwhole.livingwell is his website. And what would you like to start with? Would you like to start with Meniere's, or would you like to start with Morgellons, Doctor?
Let's go ahead and start with Meniere's.
Okay.
Since we'd already kind of mentioned that with your wife, and let's jump in with that one.
Okay.
Okay.
For our listeners who may not have any idea what Meniere's is, can you describe, or what is Meniere's, and how would somebody know if they have it?
That's a great question. Meniere's disease, it's a disorder of the inner ear, okay? Mm-hmm. So just to kind of go back to basics, there's the outer ear that we see in the ear canal, then there's the middle ear, and then there's the inner ear. And the inner ear is the portion of the ear that's responsible for balance and hearing. That's where all that's processed. And so in Meniere's, patients will experience spontaneous episodes of vertigo.
Yeah.
It's that sensation of spinning, along with hearing loss and then ringing in the ears, and sometimes this feeling of pressure in the ear. This condition also normally affects one ear, and it's mostly people in their 40s and 50s that develop this.
Something that we noticed with Laura, I started charting when she was having these episodes, was when there was a change in barometric pressure.
Yes.
We could actually chart, and what we ended up doing was, paying close attention to the Weather Channel, and we'd be able to know when to anticipate a Meniere's episode. And then I decided, well, people put earplugs in their ears when they go into aircraft to kind of help with the change of pressure. And you know that works with Meniere's?
It can, and that's wonderful. And one of the recommendations, of course, is to try to find coping strategies, because this is typically a chronic problem. It comes in attacks, so it's not like this is going on all the time. The person will get these attacks, and it can be very frightening, because if you're driving or operating heavy machinery or doing something that requires you to maintain your balance, it can be debilitating. But I think it's fantastic to find coping strategies, and one of those is to identify triggers. So in this case, I think that's fantastic. Found that the barometric pressure is causing some of this. Earplugs can help. There are people, though, unfortunately, they cannot identify any triggers, and so the actual causes of this condition do remain somewhat of a mystery. Basically, what's going on here is it's an increase in fluid in that inner ear. And these labyrinths that are in the ear are responsible for balance. So when there's too much of something called endolymph, which is the fluid inside the ear, you get this pressure, and it starts to affect the balance, and then that affects the hearing, and then you get the ringing in the ear. So you'll get these attacks periodically that can last moments, hours, days. So very scary, but that's good. I'm glad your wife was able to find a good trigger and be able to identify what she could do to work with these attacks when they occur.
But but one of the most frustrating things that we both were faced with was the lack of medical knowledge. And I'm not trying to say anything bad about the medical community. Lord knows they have enough on their plate. But the amount of research that goes into a disease like Meniere's is next to none.
And it's interesting that you bring this up. One of my observations with allopathic medicine, that's the type of medicine that I practice, MDs, DOs, allopathic medicine, the training is very, very pathology-based, and it's really focused on acute conditions. In other words, things that come up acutely that are dangerous. And medicine's actually really good with those types of conditions. But what we're just not that great at are chronic conditions, and even worse, chronic intermittent conditions. So things that just come out of nowhere every now and then. And we're just not real good at it. And because we're not real good at it, there doesn't tend to get the research attention. And then here in the U.S., of course, there's all the pharmacological companies, pharmaceuticals that fund, various research, and the money tends to be in other kinds of things, I believe. So that, unfortunately, it doesn't get the attention it should.
I was the executive director for 2 years of the International Institute for Spinal Regeneration.